So do you think that there is a difference in the way that you market as you go from single location to multiple? Let's just start saying we're scaling up now. In my circumstance, I have 5 locations. Is there going to be a difference, or are we just going to take everything one location at a time? What are your thoughts on that?
Another great question. So there's lots of different answers to that question depending upon circumstances. So we had one practice that had 13 locations, but it spread literally between 2 different states, differential geographical distance between these practices and such. So with that practice, each one of them, shared a name. So it was the name and then the area or region or city. In some cities, they had 3 or 4 locations. They did a little bit of independent branding in that regard, but by and large, each one of these had to have their own independent marketing strategy. Just from a local search perspective, geography, Google Ads, SEO, etc., you could not couple that all under one brand because you couldn't optimize that for a geographical region. So that was one thing. It all had the same name, so you could do a centralized website with single pages of independent locations pages and then optimize that. It was pretty complex, but we navigated that. And we had our SEO team do an analysis of the area, the competition, what would be best. So a couple of the practices stood independent, and then a number of the practices were grouped under a centralized website. Now, right down, the road in a multi-practice ownership scenario where it was one owner who had acquired 3 different practices, started his own, and then acquired 2 additional. He kept the branding of those 3. We were actually able to group those 3 practices under one website because of the geographical proximity of those. Another scenario where a similar thing, 3 practices, but total different plan by the owner. The owner wanted to, at one point, have the ability to sell each of these individual practices independently. So we branded each independently and created separate campaigns independently so that it could be sold and severed without losing the business model of that practice and collapsing it subsequent to the sale, and without cutting off an important limb of a strategy that had all been planned with 3 practices. So I could go on all day about that. I'd say very important question for a practice owner or a multi-practice owner to decide upon, but really seek advice and guidance specific to your end game and your existing scene of geographical branding and such, and let us help, give some guidance and direction.
Yes, okay, that sounds pretty similar to what we do, right? So every patient that comes in depends on their end goal is and what we're trying to do. And so all these treatment plans are different. You're basically giving treatment plans to single practice, multi-practice, doesn't matter. It could be different depending on what the needs are. All right, yeah, that's pretty cool.